Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gauravani Hare Krishna. A little bit more, Dave. Okay. A little more. Yes. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, 10 minutes, not 15 minutes. Who said 15 minutes? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now this is chapter 6 entitled Dhyana Yoga. Text. Which one? Where did we stop last time?
We have just read translation
Of which verse?
in which Arjuna asks what will happen if there's a person who is dead.
Oh,
So
what
that
will
is
happen?
happen.
Okay. 37? Huh?
Last time was 37.
Yeah, but without purport. Yeah, like that? What were the points? Oh,
So you mentioned that everyone has the Purusha mentality, Abhiman mentality, cannot enter the Rasa dance.
okay. We talked about not entering the rasa deaths.
No, not entering Vrindavan with your Purusha power.
Yeah.
So you have to take one.
Purusha bhava, okay. What else?
One can't.
Huh?
You mentioned like one can't enter Vrindavan.
I know. What else? I said. What else?
Okay, one.
Yes.
In spiritual life, I noticed that there is happiness at every point. You quoted that verse, the little endeavor can help one self-conscious dharma in that verse, rather than our progress. Little endeavor will save us from the guidance and confusion.
Okay. Little endeavor will save us on this path. And yes.
We also discussed about as long as we have false ego, that means we are in the demonic mentality.
Okay. We talked about false ego. We should get rid of false ego. Yes. Then.
Whatever endeavor one has made in spiritual life, it's never lost.
Okay.
So
Endeavor in spiritual life, it's never lost. Can we get that? Can we get that? It's never lost. It's every time you come to the temple, that's your credit. Every time you come here and sit for the class, that's your credit. Nothing's ever lost. You just are getting closer and closer to Krishna. Yes.
you mentioned class, just by listening also you get it.
Just by listening, what?
You said, just now you said, you need to enter the class, get credits. Just listening.
Yeah, but if class means listening. Class doesn't mean coming to class and then being absent-minded. It means listening, trying to understand, trying to hear, trying to gain something, and then of course, when there is opportunity, we try to apply that knowledge. What?
You also mentioned about when you get rid of the false ego, the Maya helps you by the form of yoga Maya in some way.
Yoga Maya helps us, yes, to get rid of false ego. Maya helps us to get rid of false ego, but Yoga Maya brings us closer to Krishna. Yes.
In spiritual life, we come closer to Krishna, but if we do offense, then
We have to watch out for offenses. Yes. That will take us away from Krishna.
We should never think
Because
that
aparad, Radha, it's not Radha Rani, but in one sense you can translate also like this, because it means it takes you away from Srimati Radharani. Yeah. So some sinful activities, the Aradhyate means, or no, Radha, it's short A, it's not long A, but it means auspicious, no? But if it's aparad, then it's inauspicious activity. So we should watch out for inauspiciousness because it's taking us away from Krishna. No? So that's what's aparad, something very inauspicious. So we shouldn't commit aparads. Like yesterday we talked, if anybody was here, we mentioned seventh and first and the last one, but basically 11 offenses altogether. No? So we should be very cautious. We should watch out for those. But to watch out for those, you have to know what this is or what they are. No? So we have to keep on reminding ourselves. Because many times we are not conscious. That's what inattentive, root of everything. And then because of that, we commit these aparats, and that's taking us away from Krishna. Okay, what else?
Spiritual life.
Bolo fast.
In spiritual life, you have to follow the path of Guru, and you have to get qualified.
Okay, in spiritual life, we have to follow path of Guru. What is that in connection to what?
So, there are stages, hierarchies, so you have to.
There are stages of hierarchy. Well, we always have somebody to guide us, someone to learn from. One thing is we should never be independent. Independence means impurity. Listen to this now, very serious. Listen, sit down. What are you doing? Network. Yes, it's a network of Maya. If you're independent, you're a network. Trapped, just becoming more and more mashed into that of illusion. There was once temple president during Srila Prabhupada's time in Vrindavan. And it so happened that, devotees, mostly that time they were mostly foreign devotees. And then just, when there was Mayapur festival, or later on, there was, summer comes and it's very hot, then either they would, devotees just, brahmachis, just get out of the temple and, just disappear. They just went up north, Haridwar, Badrinath, Ganga, whatever. And temple president was, and he's left without anybody in the temple, and he has to manage the temple. There's so many sevas to be done. And they just disappear without asking for permission, anything, nothing. They just went. So then he met Srila Prabhupada. Said, Srila Prabhupada, you see this, what is going on? They're fair weather devotees, bhaktas, it's like, how you say, he's Bharshati, Bharshati Pujari, seasonal or something, it's like something, somebody who does something seasonal. It's just they appear, they disappear, it's like, how is it possible to manage the temple, without permission? They went for yatra. And then Prabhupada said very interesting thing. He said, yes, very nice that they went on Tirtha Yatra. Very nice. And then temple president was like, I thought you were going to chastise them or something. They were saying, this is very nice. They went for Tirtha, they went for pilgrimage, they went for yatra. But then Prabhupada added, again, but. And then he quoted this line 3 times. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Karya Aikya. You know that? That if we take the shelter of the lotus feet of Guru, when our consciousness is aligned, with our activities are aligned with the spiritual master, we take the shelter of his lotus feet, and everything becomes auspicious, right? So Prabhupada quoted this verse, pointing out that yes, it's nice they went for yatra, they'll get some benefit and this and that, but actually they won't get any benefit because they're not acting under the order of spiritual master. In Padma Purana it is said, mantras tu nishfal mataha. And the mantra doesn't have an effect unless there is connection with Guru Parampara. So any activity that actually it's not approved, it's not by the will of the spiritual master, will not be auspicious and will not get, will not bring the result, desired purifying result. So that's why when one acts independently without sanction, approval of the spiritual master, so that's causing impurity. That's causing impurity. Because to become pure. That means independent, because being in the world, we chose to act independently. We think by doing this, by doing that, we chose to act independently. So that independence causes contamination. And it is the cause of all the contamination. But if we want purity, then we should follow the order of Guru and Krishna. So we have to learn how to become dependent on Guru and Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada pointed out, you see, that kind of independence, that's not how it's going to make one advance in spiritual life. Yeah? So then the temple president was satisfied, because in the beginning, so pretty sure how is Prabhupada apparently approving those activities. So Srila Prabhupada corrected them. So Prabhupada said, one cannot act independently like this. It's nice to go for yatra. It's nice to, go home and they overstay for 10 days, or something more. Right? And then say there's no ticket and this and that. And yeah, it's nice, but it's misusing independence. It's misusing independence. And it's causing a lot of havoc, and it's actually contaminating the mind. It's not in the line with instructions of Guru and Krishna. It's not going to help us at all. So we have to learn how to be dependent on Guru and Krishna like this. That's what we have to still learn. And then we'll get the fruit, then we'll get the result. Otherwise, we concoct our own process thinking that's what I want to be. But then you're still, independence means then you're under clutches of Maya still. We have to learn how to become dependent, fully dependent. Of course, once we become fully purified, then we'll gain all the independence. Then we can claim right to all the independence, but not before, because we're misusing it. We don't know what the real independence is. We don't know what real purity is. Yes. So that's why it becomes very detrimental in spiritual life. So we have to learn how to follow the order of spiritual master. Okay, any other points? Yes.
It is foolish to think that we are something which we are not.
It is foolish to think that we are something that we are not. Yes, that's foolish, no? You didn't send me a WhatsApp message. But why? I told you to ask those people, no? They had my number. Do it right now. Shobha, give me my number, send me a WhatsApp message. Yes, sorry.
You should never think that I am moving fast in spirituality, but with my own endeavor.
Yeah, but by our own endeavor that we are moving in the spiritual life. Main endeavor, but we have to understand that any result is by Krishna, not by our own efforts. That's demoniac mentality. Demons think I am so powerful, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and definitely I want credit, I want recognition, I want distinction. This subtlety is the false ego. That's something that's extremely binding. Okay, any other points? Yes.
If we allow, we lost Krishna consciousness.
If we what?
If we allow our false ego.
Allow our false ego what?
Then we should not allow.
It's not complete sentence. If we allow our false ego what?
We lost.
If we worship our false ego, if we retain our false ego, if something is missing in that sentence. If we identify with the false ego, then we lose Krishna. Because as soon as you come to material world, that's a false, you acquire a false ego. And whenever you identify with material body, it's a product of material world. See, living entity, comes as the soul in the material world and acquires covering of matter. And what is false ego meaning? That you're identifying with that covering. It has nothing to do with you. That's why it's false. And as soon as you identify with anything that's false, you're bound to remain in the material world. No. So you have to get rid of that falsity. You have to get rid of all that covering. Otherwise, how are you going to attain that original purity? How are you going to realize your original identity? So false ego has to go. That's why we worship whom? Whom did we say we worship? Who is the best person to give us mercy, to get rid of false ego? Yes? Okay, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Gopeshwar, Sankarshan, who else? Yes? Krishna. Yeah, Krishna. You know. What about, we said Advaita Acharya or something? No? Get rid of false ego. That was a discussion, one of the classes. Okay, anyway. Okay, any other last point? No. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so we'll read the verse. Arjuna Uvacha Ayati Shraddha Yopeto Yoga Chalitamanasaha Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism?" Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Para Krishna Krishna Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gora Krishna Rishi Shri Paschati Rishtari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we said that essentially in life, we wouldn't embark on anything. You know what means the word embarking? That means like you're going on a journey, so you embark on a train or a trip or a ship or this and that, whatever kind of means of travel, you embark, you start, you begin. So nobody would do that unless you know that you're not going to reach your goal, right? It won't make much sense. Or let's say you have to invest something, you're investing so much and then you don't get anything in return, not even covering for what you've invested. Would you ever do that? Would any businessman, give his money out just like that for nothing? No way. He wants profit. He wants at least some result. He wants some, in business. USA, no. So nobody would do that. Nobody would do that. So Arjuna is asking just common sense question. Everybody, okay, I start practicing this yoga. I start practicing spiritual life. And then what if just, to some reason, sometimes later, I just desist because of worldly mindedness. Worldly mindedness means being in Maya, being attracted, getting entangled in material activities. And then what does that mean? Do I lose what I've been practicing? What happens? What happens? Of course, and the natural understanding would be, yes, you lose. Materially, you lose. Whatever you invest, you lose. And if you don't get anything in return, of course, you just lose everything. So that's a material position. This is Arjuna's question. It's a very natural question everybody would ask. I enter into the spiritual practice. I give my time. I give my energy. What do you think? I mean, just all of you can a little bit for a moment think about it. Especially in the beginning, like what kind of thoughts we had in, I'm also thinking about it. Let's say I invest my energy, somebody invites you, come to the temple, do some service, and we always calculate, right? The mind always calculates, what should I do? Should I do something that gives me better profit, gives me better return in terms of this, in terms of that? Or should I come to the temple? Why coming to the temple? Think a little bit for a moment, How calculative, our minds are, for profit, for certain benefit. Did anyone ever just come? Yes, I come to them because I just like, I wish to contribute, I wish to give, I wish to surrender, I wish to, mostly it's very calculated, no? Mostly it's very calculated. What do I get? If I don't get what I want, why should I be here? Why should I be here? So then also, if I invest something and I don't get recognition, right? I don't get some distinction, I don't get some adoration, and why should I be here? So there is some calculation always. Or if I compare something, again, I will invest in terms of anything, time, energy, resources, whatever gives me better return. No? We always calculate. We have that calculated mentality to some extent or another. Even in terms of punya, what gives me more punya? Even like this. What gives me, that's our conditioning. That's heavy conditioning. Because that's, let's say, that's like giving. What mode is that kind of giving? Calculative mode. What mode is in Bhagavad Gita at the end? If anybody, Krishna describes the modes of material nature. So let's say charity or activity with that desire of return and recognition. What kind of mode is that in? What kind of mode is that in? Wait a second. Anybody else? Nobody read Bhagavad Gita, 14, 17, 18 chapter. So what mode is that in? Deepak? Compassion. Yes, passion. So that's not very good. It's not very good. Okay, it's good, but it shows a lot of your attachment and desire for return. So that's very binding. That's quite contaminating also. It's not the best. And then in mode of goodness, how is it in mode of goodness? I come to temple and I do something, and then what kind of, and I give so much and everything. Then how? What is one's position then? What is one's thinking? What would be in the mode of goodness? What is described? Activity and charity or something? Yes.
Not expecting anything in return.
Not expecting anything in return. I think there is a saying, there are two things one should always remember, and there are two things one should always forget. Who knows that? Who knows that one? What are two things one should always forget?
Charity.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's why I brought the point. Yeah, charity given or something that we should always, we should never, you remember how many times, I did this, and so many times we have to say, I did this, and you never do anything again, but you have to point to I always gave this that time, and I gave, we always remember this. No, we should forget. That we should forget. What else we should forget? We should forget about Maya, yeah, What? I should not. That's yeah, chanting Bollywood songs, we should forget. That we should forget.
Offenses if someone.
Offenses, yes, offenses if somebody offends us, we should forget. We should try to forget that, yeah. Okay, and what should we always remember? Yes? Debt. Somebody owns us something and we should forget. Maybe. That depends. If they're misusing that, then we should not forget. We should tell them, give it back, and I'll use it for Krishna. What's the major thing we should never forget? Krishna, yes, Krishna. We should never forget Krishna. Satatan smartavyo Vishnu vismartavyo najatu chit sarva veda nishedasyur etayoreva kinkara. Okay, anyway, so that's in mode of goodness, and of course ignorance then would be just everything inauspicious from beginning till the end. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong thing. How many people giving charity? Wow, that's not the subject of discussion now, but they give so many horrible things. They sponsor abortions, they sponsor slaughter, they sponsor illicit activities. So many sponsorships are going on in the name of charity. It's inconceivable. All mode of ignorance, heavy stuff. Anyway, coming back to our discussion, our beginning of spiritual life, whether it's calculative or not, some extent it's pure. It can be pure. It can be just nice feeling, can be just nice atmosphere, association, and so many things. It's very nice. You don't have expectations. But later on, if you notice, or you didn't notice, try to notice, and you see that you start calculating. You do start calculating. The beginning might be pure. You don't have any expectations. But then, you may also compare. You may also see. You may get carried away, influenced. So many things may happen. That's why association is so extremely important. That's why here also we try to limit some association. It's not that everything going on everywhere is absolutely perfect and desirable for advancement in spiritual life. You have to learn how to discriminate, or major thing, again, as I said in the beginning, follow the instructions of the Guru. Some guidelines from somebody who can guide us, authority like this. We have to be very, very cautious about that. So then that calculative mentality hits in, and we start thinking, okay, see how many times it happened. I did so, okay, I remember there was one case in Europe, whatever. I'm just talking about this one. One sannyasi had some difficulties and whatever, and then he left the movement. And now some of his disciples were very naturally disappointed. And then they started, because earlier in Europe there was a system, if you're living outside of the temple, you're in Maya. So everybody lived in the temple. Girls and boys, everybody lived in the temple, and everybody just lived Sankirtan. Sankirtan was the life. Sankirtan was the source of maintenance. Sankirtan was everything. And they were just fully dedicated to Sankirtan. And then once that person left, and then everybody was like, what to do now? It's like, there was no drive, there was no inspiration, there was a lot of wondering, And so then many of them started saying that, I gave so much of my life and time to the temple, I want money back. And what do you think? What kind of position is that? Because then they say, we want to get out of the temple and we want to settle outside. And we want to, whether continue practicing or not, but they were demanding money from the temple. So any comments on this for some of you who have some little experience in devotional practice? What kind of position is that? Before I make a conclusion. Okay, I'll just clarify one thing. ISKCON is it's like baby teething, that expression, baby teething. Teeth, dant. It's like, so when the teeth comes, I don't remember, I was many years back, but they say it's a little disturbing, itching or something. It's like and it's like it's growing teeth. There's a lot of disturbance and mistakes and things. So it's an expression for any organization or something in the beginning. There are mistakes being made. It's a learning process. It's basically a learning process. It's like there's some religions, it took them 2,000 years to, come to certain institutional constitution or whatever it is and that, or, even still things are becoming messed up, clear and not settled, and so many things happen. It's not, So, what do you expect? ISKCON has been around for what, 40, 50 years now? And that happened like 20 years ago, even more or something, even more, so it's like, what do you expect from initial pioneering stages? There'll be some mistakes. So mistakes, first mistake was that everybody was just living in the temple. You're not supposed to live, everybody just living in the temple. That's not the point. Because then after that, what happened? It was just another extreme that was being, enforced upon everybody. It said nobody should live in temple. Everybody should be outside. What's the matter? What is that? And being a brahmachari, it was like, forget, nobody should be a brahmachari. That's another extreme. So that was another problem. It took some time and years to kind of balance both, which is a process of Krishna consciousness. So that was the wrong thing. So yes, anyway, so what do you think about, something, okay, you say yes, somebody gave life and everything, and now you want to pay. From spiritual point of view, what is the position then? How do we take that? What happens? Let's say, like that's exactly what here Jonah is talking about. He says, like, I start practicing this process, but then later desist, become unsuccessful transcendentalists. That means they lost the faith to some extent. Their faith was shaken, disturbed, and then they just desist because of worldly mindedness. Worldly mindedness means, yes, I'm thinking about outside. I'm thinking about settling outside, working my own life in some other ways and by other means. So what do you think? What do you think? Is that like, like that reminds me of another story, which is kind of, there's a story in Upanishads about Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya, it's a type of bird. So, T? Yeah, anyway, it's the bird, some kind of bird. Titi Devabhavan, I'm joking. So, so there were sage, was one, I forget the names exactly now, and some disciples, and then he said, disciples didn't do exactly what the guru said, and then he said, okay, now give that knowledge back. Give that knowledge back that I taught. So anyway, there's a whole, I won't get into details. So they gave the knowledge back, but then they prayed to Brahma or something, they received the knowledge back in such another way. So spiritual life, it's like, can you demand something back? You give something and then you want something for it? Anyway, I'm asking you, somebody should speak out. No? What do you think about, let's say you do invest something in spiritual life, and then you're asking back. What is that? How to understand that? Becomes like a business. Okay. Yes?
It is stated that I took care of the unmotivated.
That's not the I took care of. Okay. That's not in Bhagavatam. That's in the Bhakti Samritsinda. Bhakti should be on. Maybe in the purport Prabhupada might quote. That's a different thing. Yeah, Bhakti should be unmotivated, pure. What else? Okay, so what about this? I mean, one can definitely understand the position of some, but it's like, it's definitely, one has to understand that there has been a lot of, because of that disturbance, the mind has been strongly affected and contaminated. One should actually, it's like, but it's not easy to understand also under such circumstances. Not to ask anything from the spiritual resources. Why? Because, okay, let's say you may be given, but then what? You get some material, you get some pay, and then you lose your old bhakti. You lose your old bhakti. Let's say, I'll just tell you like this. There are gradations of, like we talked about charity or something, whether we just mentioned, there are gradations. Let's say when you give like this in different modes also, the result of getting back, it's way different. If you give to a particular person who is just like you or whatever, and you give him, you give him some amount, then you get that much back. Same thing. If you give to a qualified Brahmana, it said you get 100,000 times more. If you give to Vaishnava, there's no end of how much more you're getting. You know, it's like an exchange rate. It's that I have some euros or something, and I go and exchange. I get so many rupees. You know, it's a way better deal. You know, I can get, you know, whatever. So it's like there are different gradations, there are different benefits. So let's say now you settle, you get something back, and you that's all you get for your bhakti. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. If you would have left, you know, you would get so much more for that bhakti that you did, you know. But you choose to encash it, and you encash it where your value of your currency is very low. That's a bad deal, right? That's a bad business. You don't do that. You're not supposed to do this. You just settle for something so bad, you know. You get something, but how much more you would have got, you know, if you wouldn't do that. So that's the point. You know, let's say sometimes I think, you know, when people do some agyata sukriti, let's say a rickshaw driver, he takes you from one place to another, and then you ask, okay, how much? And then he tells you, oh, nothing, Swamiji, this is just my seva for Krishna. How nice. It happened. It happened. A few times it happened. To me, it happened a few times. So nice. How much credit did they get? You know, they would have got 30, 40 rupees. What is 30, 40 rupees? It's not much. You understand? They did service, and they, you know, had proper, very nice mentality, you know. And how much more they will get for such kind of service. And of course, not contemplating that they will get so much more. That's also additional credit. No? If you start, that's what I'm saying. If you start calculating, having that kind of business mentality, how much you're at loss. So we shouldn't have that in spiritual life, you know, calculating what do I, but that's what we all do. I mean, hey, Arjuna is asking, you know, I start something, he's not calculating, of course, he's just asking a rational question. He's just asking a rational question, everybody do, but we do calculate. We not just ask, we do calculate. What is the benefit? I come to ISKCON and I practice and I do some bhakti. What do I get in return? Well, okay, fine. Then Krishna will say, how much you will get in return? But then you may say, I don't see anything substantial. I didn't get any position. I didn't get any enjoyment. On top of it, everybody says you have to give up enjoyment. You have to do fasts. You have to do this and that. You know, what am I getting? Am I getting some prestige? Am I getting some recognition from some girls? What am I getting? Am I getting more purified, radiant by purity, so I'll be more attractive? Am I getting more fame? What am I getting? You know? So that's a heavy calculation. So we shouldn't have that. You know, we shouldn't I remember really, it's like, or sometimes, okay, oh, are we insured socially? Are we having any medical insurance or something? I never thought of any such kind of stuff. You know, when I came to India, we were like, we had nothing. In traveling Sankirtan part, we didn't even know where we are, what's the day, what's the season. You know, it's like things, you know, where we would stay next night or something. You know, what to speak of medical insurance or some nonsense like this or whatever. You know, it's like I never thought of it. I just say, okay, how to do seva, Haribo, and just keep on traveling and distributing books. But if you're calculating like this, then that kind of mentality, it's something that hampers bhakti, really hampers bhakti. It's okay, it's in connection, in due course of time, it might get purified, but it's not a good idea. And hopefully there should be some authority to point to that. And that we shouldn't have it, we should give it up, we should purify it immediately. You know, should really give it up. You know, that calculation. But again, even if somebody has it, hey, how much you're getting? You're getting so much. No. What do you gain? You gain so much that you relief. No? Nectar of devotion said, Kleshapni, Shubhada. There's so many. Is that you're getting relief from the pangs of suffering. You understand why you're suffering in this material world. You stop doing nonsense that causes you more suffering. You get relief. Okay, wow, I know now what is goal of life. Wow, now I have better association. Wow, now I'm reducing my lust. You cannot say I'm not getting anything. You're getting so much. You're getting something you never got in your life. You're decreasing fever. You're feeling better. You start feeling better. You can't say I'm not feeling better. Because many those who go out and they start doing nonsense things again that they did before, you see, how smashed they get on their heads, After some time, see, what is it, yeah, doing some material, also sinful activities, And actually, then you can't do that because you had higher taste. Yeah, maybe someone still keep on trying. It becomes difficult. Really have to have low consciousness. Covered. Proof becomes heavy. But we are getting so much. So anyway, the point here was this calculative mentality. We have to be cautious about this. Of course, we do have to. That's why the Shastra is there. It's telling us, yes, these are the benefits of spiritual practice. We have to also understand those to be able to present it to others. Because everybody will be, okay, why should I practice Krishna consciousness? I can practice so many other things, no? So that also we have to be very clear about. What are the benefits of spiritual life? And the most important, what Krishna is saying, okay, now how do you explain this? We say that this is on your eternal account. How do you explain this? That spiritual life is on your eternal account. How do you explain this? How would you say? And people will say, I don't see that. That's your statement. Give me practical proof. Spiritual life is on your eternal account. Give me practical proof. Give me practical proof. Wait a second. Where's your hand? You have a hand? Some norms of the class, no? Think a little bit for a moment. How would you answer this question? Might be a challenge, not just a question. Say, okay, you're saying, you practice spiritual life, even if you don't, like Krishna is saying, there's no loss. You have this eternally on your credit. Where you stopped, you'll be, you will continue. And there's no loss. And then materially, you see, whatever you do, you stop something, whatever you lose. Starting something, you don't get a degree, what is the use? It's in a way, it's all waste. You started business, you don't complete, it's all bad investment, money's gone, it's finished. So you are claiming that you are practicing spiritual life, nothing is lost. What's the proof? Now you give me this answer. What's the proof? Okay, where? What's the proof? Yes.
Even if one is fallen down, but if we, let's say, a child or something, he immediately gets back there rather than it doesn't take him a lot of time.
Do you have any example? I've never heard of such case. You have any example? I'm playing devil's advocate. You have to be careful with this because you may meet the devil. You're playing devil's advocate, you may meet the devil. Anyway, I'm just. You have any example of that? You don't have. So then why are you saying? Who told you this? You're brainwashed. You heard somewhere and you're just speaking something. Personal experience. Okay, when you practice and you fall down, and then what happens? It doesn't take you that much time to come back. It depends. It depends. That's why we say, we have a saying in the Vedic, when you fall from the horse, you should immediately get up and start riding. The longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes because the pain, it's heavy. You think, I will never ride again. You should not think about the pain. Just immediately jump up and start doing it. People have a fall down. If they wait too long because of false ego, we've seen the cases. We've seen some cases. People they really don't come back because heavy false ego. And how will I show up my face now? I was so high and now, this thing happened. And it's heavy for false ego. It's heavy for false ego. Then you see what the false ego is. People have difficulties coming back. So what if I give that example? It becomes a little problem for your example, for your proposition. It's like. But yeah, it might happen. People come back, okay, where they stop. In one sense, I can agree. We see people who come back and they just start off where they left. They were good in, let's say, doing something for Krishna. They continue being very good with what they were doing for Krishna. Yeah. Pretty effective. even after such period of lapse or, not being active. Okay, yes.
We'll see some better changes in you.
We'll see better changes. But how does that explain? I'm saying when you, how can you say that you've practiced something and you stop practicing, and that whatever you've been practicing, it is still there, it's not lost? That's my point. Because again, we see when devotees, let's say, leaves the spiritual practice, he falls back exactly where they left off, by their karma. They were doing something before, they were in such a place, this. They just go back to where they stopped. They go back to same girlfriend or something, or it's like, yeah, these are heavy cases. I heard of many, and I know some. It's like you go back exactly where everything. Yes.
Krishna keeps account of that.
Krishna what?
Krishna keeps account of the.
Krishna keeps account. But give me a proof. Bharat Maharaj, this is story in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. So I don't accept this. I don't watch stories, there are plenty of so many stories. These are stories. How do you, justify the fact that, which you're claiming, that you get spiritual credit? It's not lost, that it's whatever practice is there, whatever consciousness you've acquired, it still remains, even after you stop practicing. Give me proof of it. Yes.
Many small children.
Many, which small students?
Children.
Children chanting. You can make anybody chant. You can make a dog chant. You can make a dog comes to help desk, you give him mala, he will chant. But the security doesn't let the dogs in temples, so that's like that.
Their spiritual inclination signifies their last word of the.
Now we are getting to something. Okay. Yes, that makes a little more sense. We see, somebody picks up immediately something, right? And becomes very good at it, in childhood especially. Because you can't say that they've learned at some point, because where was that point? They're just so small, no? You see kids, I've seen in Europe or something, small devotee kids, immediately mridanga. It's like, how they're playing like this? Where is that coming from? There's no mridanga in the West or something. They just, oh yeah, mommy, give mridanga, this, that. In the media, they're crazy about mridanga or something. Where did that come from? No. Where did that come from? It's not mridanga in the West. It's one thing, and that's just kids. They didn't see on internet or something. I've seen it years back. There was no internet at that time anyway, something. Where does that come from? So there is some past credit. No, there's some past impressions. There's some past whatever. I can say for myself and so on, whatever. I got, kicked by reading one book. I said, wow, that's it. And I never looked back. Where does that come from? Oh, how do you explain that? Unless there has been some previous, whatever, better not to know. But so that's a little more solid point, no? It's a little more solid point. There has been credit in previous life, and that's why you continue where you stop. Like we said, even in this life, to some extent, you can say that when somebody comes back, they continue. Just continue when they stop. That's why we, in the beginning, you see your spiritual practice, it's easier, right? Later on, you hear devotees, oh, it's so difficult now. It's a dry period, it's like such tapasya. It becomes, how to practice chant and this and that. It's a struggle. No? Why it's a struggle? Because in the beginning, you left where you started where you left. So it was kind of easier. That is, confirmed. 9 o'clock. So, but then later again, you have to keep on endeavoring. You have to keep on pushing. You have to get purified. It's not easy. It's not easy. It becomes a little tough, Like Dhammakan Maharaj, that story of the desert. You know that story of the desert? It's 9 o'clock, we will tell next time. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Yes. And the purport and everything else we'll discuss next. Yes.
Prabhuji, you discussed about charity and passion, we expect something.
Okay, charity and passion, expecting something. So,
In spiritual life, you say, I explain at the time, I do some service, I expect some recognition.
okay, when you do some service, you expect some shadam and something, and then so. How to overcome? Yeah, it's consciously we have to endeavor to overcome. Consciously, we do some activity and we expect, yes, I have to get some reward for it. But we have to understand, when you have that expectations, you will just get that reward. You will not get more than that. That's what I gave these examples of rickshaw and this and that. Whatever, it's like we have to get rid of that mentality. That's a very low level mentality. If you do something and you don't, like people who give charity and they say, don't put my name. Don't put my name. They know they'll get so much more. They know it's there in the Shastra. They'll get so much more. They'll get so much more blessings, so much more punya, so much more everything. They know. And those who are so passionate about, yes, put my name and do this and do that, that's all you're going to get. Not too much, So it's a worse deal. It's a worse deal. It's not such a good deal. So better to, by knowledge at least. Okay, let's say again, you want to be, what is said? Prahlad Maharaj said that Vishnu Svartagatim, no? What is the highest interest? The self, real Svart, what is the real interest? Be selfish about your spiritual life. Be selfish about Vishnu. So you really want to be selfish, then you have to understand what is the process of the best selfishness. How to gain more from spiritual life. Be detached. Don't ask for this lava, puja, and pratishtha. Even if you have a motive for it, that it's lower level, but it's still better than asking for lava, puja, and pratishtha. Later on, you'll even get purified. You'll just do bhakti. Say, I just want Krishna's pleasure. I don't care about myself. That's the highest, of course. That's the best. I don't need what recognition. Here in this world, what is it? There's so many frogs and you become recognized frog. What's the benefit of it? No, people want fame. Oh, yuck, Bollywood. I want to be famous. How many people come to Mumbai being movie stars and this and that? Mumbai mein jaunga, sab choti hai. Something I said. Anyway, I'm just. So it's everybody has that idea. I'll come and become big and famous. What's the use of being big and famous? So such a stupid thing. Really, such a nonsense. Anyway, the time is over. I don't get into this. So better by knowledge understand. Okay, first of all, what's the greater benefit by being detached, and another thing is to understand that even greatest benefit. Just serve Krishna. You'll be so more peaceful and happier and everything else. What else do you want? What else do you need? I don't need anything else. Okay? Okay, so Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Gaur Premanande.